Thank you for coming, everybody. How's the sound check on that? Can you hear me?
Čujete li me dobro?
Is that okay?
Sve u redu.
Recently, I was in Rome.
Nedavno sam bio u Rimu.
I was filming a movie there with Mel Gibson directing.
Snimao sam film tamo, film kojem je režiser bio Mel Gibson.
I had the pleasure and honor of playing our Lord Jesus Christ.
Imao sam zadovoljstvo da glumim Isusa Krista.
It's by and far the hardest film I've ever done.
I to je nadaleko najteži film koji sam ikad snimio.
So while we were there, we got a phone call that we got to go in and meet with the Holy Father.
I dok smo bili tamo, primili smo poziv da možemo doći upoznati Svetog Oca Papu.
And so I got on my knees and walked in, and there was a man I always wanted to meet.
Kada sam kleknuo, ušao sam u prostoriju i tamo je bio čovjek kojega sam oduvijek htio upoznati.
And he said to me,
I rekao mi je,
Jim, Caviezel, what have you learned in playing Jesus Christ?
I rekao mi je, Jime, kako si ti glumiš Isusa Krista?
He said, well, Holy Father,
I rekao sam, Sveti Oče,
I've got to hang out with many Italians lately.
u posljednje vrijeme se družim puno sa Italijanima.
And, you know, so I've come to the conclusion,
I zaključio sam,
I think Jesus was Italian.
mislim da je Isus bio Talijan. Šta?
I said, well, Holy Father, he didn't leave home until he was 30.
Rekao sam, Oče Sveti nije otišao od kuće dok nije imao 30 godina.
He always hung out with the same 12 guys.
I uvijek se družio s istih 12 momaka.
And his mother believed he was God.
I majka mu je vjerovala da je Bog.
Do you guys laugh here at all?
Smijete li se vi ovdje uopće?
Since I am an actor,
Budući da sam ja glumac,
you will permit me to set the scene.
dopustit ćete mi da priredim scenu.
February 1997,
Veljača 1997.
it was a splendid Los Angeles day.
Bio je divan dan u Los Angelesu.
My eyes stung from the smog,
Moje oči su boljele od smoga.
and the chirping of the birds was drowned out by the backup on the 405 freeway.
I niste mogli čuti pjev ptica od automobila na magistrali.
I was on the threshold of the major meeting of my career up to that point.
Bila sam na raskrižju svoje karijere.
After auditioning several times for a role in his upcoming film,
Nakon što sam par puta bio na audiciji za nadolazeće filmove,
The Thin Red Line,
za film Tanka crvena linija.
the renowned director Terrence Malick wanted to meet me.
I poznati redatelj Terence Malick je htio upoznati mene.
I had been here before,
Bio sam ovdje prije.
audition,
Iz audicije u audiciju.
oh you're great,
I još divni ste.
just one more meeting.
I samo još jedan sastanak.
And time after times my hopes were dashed,
I nakon nekog vremena moje su se nade uništile.
and I felt like a failure.
I osjećala sam se kao gubitnik.
You see, I knew I was after a role that every big name in Hollywood wanted.
Znate, znao sam da pucam na ulogu koju je svaki veliki glumac u Hollywoodu želi.
And I was not a star.
A nisam bio zvijezda.
40,000 people come to Hollywood every year to try their luck.
40,000 ljudi dolazi u Hollywood svake godine da iskušaju svoju sreću.
Less than 1% ever work.
Manje od 1% uspije.
The odds were against me and I knew it.
Postotak je bio protiv mene i znao sam to.
Movie stars were throwing themselves at Terrence Malick for even a bit part in this film.
Mnoge poznate zvijezde su se bacale pred Terencea Malicka da dobiju ulogu u ovome filmu.
because quite frankly, he hadn't made a movie in 25 years.
I iskreno nije bio snimio film već 25 godina.
So, I'm in my 1993 Honda Accord,
I vozim se u svojoj Hondi Accord iz 1993. godine
which I still drive,
i koji još uvijek vozim.
and I pull up to this house in Beverly Hills.
I parkiram se ispred ove kuće na Beverly Hillsu.
And sandwiched between the Taj Mahal and Buckingham Palace is Terrence Malick's house.
Između Taj Mahala i Buckingham Palace nalazi se kuća tog redatelja,
Which I could hardly see anyway due to the string of Rolls Royces and Bentleys lining the curb.
koje uopće nisam mogao vidjeti od svih Rolls Roycesa parkiranih ispred.
Anyway, I pull up for the 6 o'clock meeting,
I došao sam na sastanak u 6 sati,
but I couldn't leave the car.
ali nisam mogao ostaviti auto.
I was plagued by self-doubt.
Imao sam sumnje u samoga sebe.
I made a decision that if this didn't pan out,
Odlučio sam da ako ovo ne uspije,
if this didn't come through,
ako ovo sada ne uspije,
that I was going to hang it up.
da ću odustati.
I already told my wife that we were packing up and moving home if this shot failed.
Već sam rekao svojoj supruzi da ćemo se pakirati i odlazimo kući ako ne uspijem taj put.
I just didn't want to drift along the rest of my life wondering if I was ever going to work consistently as an actor.
Jer nisam htio provesti ostatak svoga života misleći da li ću ikad raditi stalno kao glumac.
So it is 6 p.m.
I u 6 sati navečer,
I was still in the car.
još uvijek sam bio u autu.
I need to go into this meeting.
I morao sam ići na taj sastanak.
And I believe in my heart that the next 10 minutes changed my life forever.
I vjerujem da u svome srcu da sljedećih 10 minuta je promijenilo moj život zauvijek.
You see, in my mind,
Vidite, u svojoj glavi,
in this paralysis, I felt I didn't deserve this.
u toj paralizi osjećala sam da ja to ne zaslužujem.
I was the guy from Mount Vernon, Washington.
Ja sam momak iz Alberne u Washingtonu.
I wanted to be a basketball player.
Htio sam biti igrač košarke.
What the hell was I doing here?
Šta sam ja radio ovdje?
This felt just like my school years.
Osjećao sam se kao u školi.
The first day of high school,
Prvi dan srednje škole.
in front of all my classmates,
Ispred svih mojih
a bird shat on my head.
učenika iz razreda.
It set the pattern for the rest of my academic career.
I to je, ptica se pokakla na moju glavu i učinila da moj ugled za ostatak školske karijere.
It was an omen.
Bio je to znak.
I was thrown into garbage cans.
Bacan sam bio u košare za smeće.
Had my locker broken into. Got into endless fist fights, a few caused by my own big mouth.
Moj ormarić u školi je bio provaljen. Puno sam se tukao i svađao s ljudima.
These growing pains led to despair
I to je dovodilo do očaja.
and an increasing feeling that my life was worthless,
I osjećao sam sve više da moj je život beznačajan.
that I had no purpose.
Da nisam imao smisao.
You must understand,
Morate razumjeti,
during this entire period,
tijekom cijelog ovog razdoblja,
I never stopped going to the Holy Mass.
nikad nisam prestao ići na svetu misu.
Oh, I was going through the motions,
Prolazio sam kroz sve te emocije,
but a routine diet of sin
ali ta rutina grijeha
made me feel empty and unworthy.
činila me da se osjećam praznim i nedostojnim.
I'm too blind to know the difference.
I previše sam bio slijep da bi znao razliku.
So here I am outside of Terrence Malick's house,
Tako ja sjedim ispred kuće Terrenca Maleka,
an emotional mess,
emocionalno uništen.
a self-sabotage at full fury.
Samo sabotiran.
It is 6:05 p.m.
5 je prošlo 6 sati.
and I'm in the middle of the fourth glorious mystery.
I ja molim četvrto tajstvo slavne krunice.
6 months earlier,
6 mjeseci ranije,
my manager, who is a bit of a Catholic clairvoyant,
moj menadžer koji je, naziva se katolikom,
said that I should start praying the Rosary on a daily basis.
rekao mi je da moram početi moliti krunicu svaki dan.
So following orders,
I sljedeći njegove naredbe,
I borrowed my wife's grandmother's rosary.
posudio sam od supruge krunicu od njezine bake.
It was a precious antique heirloom.
Bio je to cijenjeni antični objekt.
I started running them through my fingers
I počeo sam njima prolaziti kroz svoje prste.
and praying without even really knowing the mysteries at all.
I molio sam bez uopće znajući o tajstva krunice.
I'm already 5 minutes late for this major meeting
Već sam 5 minuta kasnije na taj veliki sastanak
with the most sought after director in Hollywood,
sa najumišljenijim redateljem u Hollywoodu.
and I have not finished the decade.
I nisam završio svoje tajstvo.
So I decide to press on.
I odlučio sam
Hail
požuriti.
Mary, full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace.
Zdravo Marijo, milosti puna, zdravo Marijo, milosti puna.
When I finally finished the Hail Holy Queen, it is 6:10 p.m.
Kada sam konačno završio Zdravo kraljice, već je prošlo 10 minuta.
I jump out of the car,
Iskočio sam iz auta,
dash up to the house,
otrčao prema kući
and I realize that I have rosary beads in my hand.
i shvatio sam da držim krunicu u svojoj ruci.
So I turn heels and race back to the car to dispose of the beads.
I trčao sam nazad prema autu da ostavim krunicu.
I opened the car door and made a deliberate move to drop the rosary.
Otvorio sam vrata od auta i htio sam da bacim krunicu unutra.
When I get this feeling in my chest,
Kad sam osjetio taj neki osjećaj u svojim grudima,
the sense that I should take the rosary with me.
osjećaj da bi trebao ponijeti tu krunicu sa sobom.
This is not the first time that I have experienced this sensation.
Nije to prvi put da sam imao taj osjećaj.
The brush of grace is sometimes unsettling,
Osjećaj milosrđa je umirujući ponekad.
but is often not until after the fact that you realize what has happened.
Ponekad tek nakon nekog vremena shvatimo što je se desilo.
The first time I had this experience, I was 19 years old, sitting in a theater
Prvi put kada se to desilo, imao sam 19 godina i sjedio u kinu,
in my hometown
u svome rodnome gradu,
in Mount Vernon, Washington.
u Malverni, Washingtonu.
The movie had ended, and out there in the darkness,
Film je završio i još tamo u tami,
befriended only by my basketball,
u društvu samo svoje košarkaške lopte.
who was in the adjacent seat,
Bio sam u posljednje sjedao.
I had a sensation right here
Imao sam osjećaj tu,
in my chest
u svojim grudima,
that made me think
koji me je činio da mislim
that I'm supposed to be an actor,
da bih trebao biti glumac,
that this is what God crafted me for,
da me je zato Bog stvorio,
that this is what He wanted of me.
da je to ono što On želi od mene.
It was not a voice
To nije bio glas
or a locution,
ili lokucija,
but a deep awareness of my vocation.
nego duboki osjećaj mog poziva.
Reluctantly, I went forward.
I ne misleći išao sam naprijed.
My rational sense intervened.
Moje racionalno razmišljanje se umiješalo.
I knew nothing about acting,
Ništa nisam znao o glumi.
no agents,
Nisam imao agenta,
no managers.
nisam imao menadžera.
I can't memorize to save my life,
Ne mogu naučiti stvari da bi spasio svoj život.
yet I had this conviction,
Ali sam imao to uvjerenje,
this charge.
tu vjeru.
So back on the curb in front of Terrence Malick's house,
I ponovno ispred kuće Terensa Malika
I decided to take the rosary with me
odlučio sam ponijeti krunicu sa sobom
and make my way to the front door.
i krenuti prema ulaznim vratima.
The maid, or servant,
Sluškinja
answers the bell.
otvorila je vrata na zvono
On her neck is a miraculous medal.
i oko vrata nosi čudotvornu medaljicu.
So I say to her,
I kažem joj,
"You're Catholic."
ti si katolkinja.
She says, "No, I'm Episcopalian."
Ne, ona kaže, ja sam episkopalijan.
So she takes me in and shows me the house.
I ona me uvede i pokaže mi kuću.
It was a beautiful Spanish hacienda.
To je bila predivna španjolska hacijenda.
And as we were admiring the ceiling,
I kako smo se divili krovu,
while the woman is in mid-sentence,
dok je žena bila u sredini rečenice,
I get that sensation in my chest again,
ponovno dobijem taj osjećaj u svojim grudima.
but stronger than I have ever experienced.
Ali jači nego ikad prije.
And without thinking,
I bez
I
razmišljanja.
reach for the rosary in my pocket,
Uzmem krunicu iz svoga džepa,
interrupt her and say,
prekinem je i kažem,
"This is for you."
ovo je za vas.
She's completely startled.
I ona je iznenađena.
She says to me, "Why did you do that?"
I ona kaže, zašto si to učinio?
Tears are now welling up in her eyes.
I suze se skupljaju u njezinim očima.
I say, "I don't know, ma'am."
Ja kažem, ne znam, gospođo.
She says to me, oh my God.
Ona mi kaže, Bože moj.
She says, the woman that gave me this medal also gave me a rosary that she got from Mother Teresa.
Žena koja mi je dala ovu medaljicu također mi je bila dala krunicu koju je dobila od majke Tereze.
She says, I lost it.
Kaže, izgubila sam je.
And I prayed this morning that God would send me another one.
I molila sam jutros da mi Bog pošalje drugu.
And then in walks you.
I onda ti uđeš.
This woman is now collapsing in tears.
Sad se ova žena ruši u svojim suzama.
I am shell-shocked.
Ja sam šokiran.
There is a rosary between us.
Krunica je između nas.
And in walks the director, Terrence Malick.
I redatelj uđe tada u sobu.
When he started with, honey, what's wrong?
Kad je rekao, dušo, što nije u redu,
It occurs to me that this ain't the maid.
shvatio sam da to nije sluškinja.
This is Mrs. Terrence Malick,
Ovo je gospođa Terence Malick,
his wife.
njegova supruga.
And I thought, well,
I pomislio sam,
here we go again, fella.
Opet momče,
Back to Mount Vernon you go.
opet se vraćaš u Mount Vernon.
When I got home, I told my wife,
Kad sam se vratio u kući, rekao sam svojoj supruzi,
honey, I have some good news and some bad news.
draga, imam neke dobre vijesti i neke loše vijesti.
The good news is I may get the thin red line.
Dobra vijest je da sam ušao u tanko crvenu liniju.
The bad news is
Loša vijest je,
your grandmother's rosary is gone.
nema više bake ni krunica.
Her comment to me was,
Njezin komentar bio je,
you damn well better get that movie.
bolje da uspiješ u tome filmu.
From that day on, Terrence Malick and I began a close relationship.
Nakon toga dana Terence Malick i ja smo nastavili blisko odnose,
That continues today.
koji nastavlja se i danas.
He would go on to cast me in the first major role of my career,
Dao mi je prvu glavnu ulogu u svojoj karijeri,
in The Thin Red Line,
u tankoj crvenoj liniji,
against the wishes of the studio,
protiv želja studija.
and remains my father in film.
I ona je bio moj otac u filmu.
We would be nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
Nominirani smo za 7 nagrada Akademije, uključujući za najbolji film.
Something was clearly going on,
Nešto se zaista dešavalo.
but what it was and how to proceed
A šta je se desilo i kako je nastavilo,
was still a mystery.
još je uvijek tajna.
Got to the spring of 2000.
Da pređemo u proljeće 2000. godine.
I was offered the role of Edmond Dantes in The Count of Monte Cristo.
Ponuđen sam ulogu da glumim Edmonda Dantesa u Grofu od Monte Crista.
It was a new adaptation of the Dumas classic.
Bila je to nova adaptacija Dumantovog klasika.
It was a very stressful period.
Bilo je to stresno razdoblje.
This is the first time I had to carry a film on my own.
Prvi put je to da sam morao nositi film sam.
And here I was at the pinnacle of what I long wanted to achieve, but I had no peace.
I bio sam na vrhuncu onoga što sam dugo htio postići, ali nisam imao mir.
At the same time, my wife Kerri is in Medjugorje,
U isto vrijeme moja supruga Kerri je u Medjugorju.
having the time of her life.
Provodi se kao nikad u životu.
So, when I was shooting in Ireland,
Dok sam snimao u Irskoj,
she called to tell me how powerful the experience had been,
nazvala me da mi kaže kako je snažno to iskustvo.
how Our Lady was touching her life,
Kako je Gospa
and
ulazila
on
u
and on
život.
and on.
Sve više i više.
And I said,
I rekao sam,
well, that's nice, dear.
to je lijepo, draga.
And she says,
A ona kaže,
this man Ivan Dragicevic,
taj čovjek Ivan Dragičević,
one of the Medjugorje visionaries,
jedan od vidioca iz Međugorja,
was speaking in Ireland next Thursday.
govori u Irskoj sljedeći četvrtak.
Well, I had my doubts
I imao sam svoje sumnje.
that even if I didn't,
A sve da nisam,
there was no way I was going to see this guy.
nije bilo šanse da odem vidjeti tog čovjeka.
I had a full shooting schedule with no days off in sight.
Imao sam puno snimanje bez slobodnih dana.
I'm losing weight.
Mršavio sam.
There are constant delays,
Stalno kasnimo.
and I'm considering walking off the film.
I razmišljam da napustim film.
Thursday morning,
Četvrtak jutro,
bone tired, extremely tired.
jako umoran.
I report for work.
Javim se na posao.
We are shooting this and that,
Snimamo ovo ili ono.
and suddenly they tell me I have the afternoon off.
I odjednom mu kažu imaš slobodno popodne.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have not had one day off during this entire film, including Sundays.
Dame i gospode, nisam imao nijedan dan slobodan, uključujući ni nedjelju.
They tell me that Richard Harris is sick,
Kažu mi da je Richard Harris bolestan.
a sickness that would soon take his life.
Bolestan je da će brzo umrijeti.
We can't shoot our scene together.
Da ne možemo snimati zajedno.
So I give Kerri a call,
Nazvao sam Kerri
and agreed to meet with this Ivan.
i odlučio sam se sastati s tim Ivanom.
When I went to the church,
Kad sam ušao u crkvu,
I didn't feel anything.
nisam osjetio ništa.
I saw the apparition.
Vidio sam ukazanje.
I figured that I had made too many sins.
Mislio sam da sam počinio previše grijeha.
Why should I feel anything?
Zašto bih ja nešto i osjetio?
But what I was blown away was the faith of the Irish people.
Ali bio sam odnesen vjerom irskih ljudi.
They were on their knees on the stone,
Bili su na svojim koljenima na kamenu.
and I was feeling guilty.
I osjećao sam krivnju.
My natural feeling of the apparition was that it has to be a hoax.
Moj osjećaj je bio da to mora biti varka, to ukazanje.
When I was a boy in 6th grade,
Kad sam bio dječak u 6. razredu,
we were told about these apparitions.
govorili su nam o tim ukazanjima.
That everybody was happy about this that was happening. Then we got word that the bishop in the area said that it's not real, so we all said that it is not real.
Svi smo bili sretni zato što se to dešava, a onda biskup koji je bio u tom području rekao da to nije istina. I svi smo vjerovali da to nije istina.
But I kept looking at this guy, this average-looking Croatian guy in a nice suit.
I stalno sam gledao ovoga prosječnog Hrvata u odijelu.
There was something in his eyes that I wanted to avoid.
Bilo je nešto u njegovim očima što sam htio izbjeći.
I thought,
Pomislio sam,
I'm a good person.
ja sam dobra osoba.
Why do I need this guy or his visions?
Zašto mi treba taj čovjek koji ima ukazanja?
He said to me in this Croatian accent,
I onda mi je rekao u svom hrvatskom naglasku.
pray for you for this, talking for you for this. I'm a terrorism mother. I turned to my wife and I said, what the hell did he just say?
Rekao mi je uz naglasku nešto i okrenuo sam se prema svojoj ženi i rekao sam šta je on sad rekao?
He said to me,
Rekao mi je
ask your questions.
postavi svoja pitanja.
So I said, fine.
Rekao sam dobro.
Does Mary come down like Captain Kirk?
Da li Gospa dolazi kao kapetan
Or
Kirk?
does she come through the wall like the Incredible Hulk? The Incredible Hulk is a cartoon. Superman. Just say Superman.
Da li dolazi kao Superman?
He asked me to pray with him.
I zamolio me da molim s njim.
I was kneeling off his left shoulder.
I klečao sam s lijeve strane.
I was very scared.
Jako sam se bojao.
I thought that Mary would probably shock me dead.
Mislio sam da će me Gospa ubiti.
He was looking up at something,
I gledao je on u nešto.
and even though I didn't want it to believe,
I premda nisam htio vjerovati.
something was happening in my heart,
Nešto se desilo u mome srcu.
and his mouth was moving,
Njegove usne su se kretale,
but no sound was coming out.
ali nije izlazio zvuk.
So I thought, Mary must read lips.
Pomislio sam mora da mu Gospa čita s usana.
So I started moving my mouth.
Pa sam ja počeo pokretati svoje usne.
I figured must be the way you speak to the Mother of God,
Pomislio sam to mora biti način kako razgovaraš s Majkom Božjom,
if she's really there.
ako je ona zaista tamo.
I began to feel something in my heart,
Počeo sam osjećati nešto u svome srcu
and it scared the hell out of me.
i to me jako prestrašilo.
After the operation, I got up
Nakon ukazanja sam se ustao
and I said to him,
i rekao sam mu,
Ivan, you told me if I knew how much Mary and her son loved me,
Ivane, rekao si mi kad bih znao koliko me Majka Božja i Isus vole,
that I would die for it.
da bi umro zbog toga.
Let me tell you something, pal.
Reći ti nešto, prijatelju.
I don't know how many times that I've asked God to enter into my life,
Ne znam koliko sam puta pitao Boga da uđe u moj život,
and I felt absolutely nothing.
ali sam osjetio ništa.
I said, is she in this room?
Je li ona u ovoj sobi?
I said, don't screw with me, is she in this room?
Nemoj se zezati sa mnom, je li ona u ovoj sobi?
He said, apparition's over, but she is here.
On je rekao, ukazanje je završeno, ali ona je tu.
And I said, you tell her to come into my heart.
Reci joj da uđe u moje srce.
Ivan says, Mary can't come into your heart.
Ivan je rekao, Gospa ne može ući u tvoje srce.
She can only bring her son.
Samo može dovesti svoga sina.
Only God can enter your heart.
Samo Bog može ući u tvoje srce.
Jim,
Jime,
man always makes time for what he loves.
čovjek uvijek ima vremena za ono što voli.
The reason man does not make time for God
Razlog zašto čovjek nema vremena za Boga,
is because he does not love God.
zato što ne voli Boga.
And it was at that moment that I realized
U tome trenutku sam shvatio
that I had not been making time for God.
da nisam imao vremena za Boga.
It was at that moment
U tom trenutku
when I questioned whether I truly loved him,
da sam se zapitao da li ga zaista volim,
whether I would give him the reins
da li mu dao povišicu,
and allow him to fill the void in my heart,
dao mu šansu da ispuni prazninu u mome srcu,
created by my own desires for fame
koja je sapunila mojim željama za slavom
and worldly goods,
i svjetovnim dobrima.
whether I would truly allow him
Da li bi mu doista dopustio
to lead my life.
da vodi moj život.
The next day,
Sljedeći dan
went to work to film,
otišao sam na posao, na film.
and I felt this, I don't know how to explain it,
Osjećao sam to, ne znam kako da objasnim,
but I will try.
ali pokušat ću.
I felt this feeling in my heart,
Osjetio sam taj osjećaj u svome srcu,
like 10 of the closest friends to me had died.
kao da mi je 10 najbližih prijatelja umrlo.
But not at the moment, at the shock, but at the moment when despair sets in, the loss that you feel.
Ne u tome trenutku šoka, nego kasnije kad postaneš svjestan svog gubitka.
10 times more than I'd ever felt it.
10 puta više nego što sam ikad osjetio.
I couldn't eat,
Nisam mogao jesti,
couldn't sleep.
nisam mogao spavati.
Finally, at the end of the day,
I konačno na kraju dana,
no breaks, the work was so hard.
bez pauza, posao je bio jako težak.
I went home
Otišao sam kući
and I crashed.
i poslomio se.
The next morning,
Sljedeće jutro
I was set to work on my fencing moves with the trainer.
trebalo sam učiti mačevati sa svojim trenerom
He did not show up,
i on se nije pojavio.
so feeling pretty good,
Budući da sam se dobro osjećao,
feeling very good.
budući da sam se jako dobro
I
osjećao.
went to the bike trainer, the bicycle that you train on.
Popeo sam se na biciklo, osobno biciklo,
As I was working out,
i dok sam vježbao,
I looked over and I saw this book that my wife keeps around.
pogledao sam i vidio knjigu koju moja supruga drži kod sebe.
It said The Visions of Mary.
I naziva se Gospina ukazanja.
I went, pick up the book,
Uzeo sam knjigu
and in it was the words,
i u njoj su pisale riječi.
you will never know happiness
Nikad nećeš poznavati sreću
living a sinful life.
dok živiš u grijehu.
And needless to say, I was convicted.
I bez razmišljanja bio sam uvjeren.
I will tell you that is the first time that I have ever prayed from my heart.
I reći vam da je to prvi put da sam molio iz svoga srca.
Weeks later, we went on to Malta,
Par tjedana nakon toga otišli smo na Maltu.
and having holy masses said for this movie,
I dao sam da se kažu svete mise za taj film.
and trying to pray,
I dok sam pokušavao moliti,
from my heart,
pokušavao moliti iz srca,
praying that Mary would inspire my work
moleći da Gospa nadahne moj posao
and use me as her instrument for her son.
i da me koristi kao instrument za svog sina.
But like you, I was never sure if my prayers were being answered.
Ali poput vas, nikad nisam bio siguran da li su moje molitve odgovorene,
if they were landing.
da li su slijetali na pravo mjesto.
Then an amazing thing happened.
I onda se nešto neobično desilo.
We are set to shoot a pivotal scene in the film
Trebalo smo snimiti odlučujuću scenu u filmu.
in this grand house in Malta.
I to velikoj kući u Malti.
It is the moment when the Count of Monte Cristo must decide
To je trenutak kad grof od Monte Crista mora odlučiti
whether he will remain with the love of his life
da li će ostati sa ljubavi svog života
or leave her to pursue his revenge.
ili da li će nastaviti sa svojom osvetom.
And I look up to the ceiling
I pogledam prema plafonu
as I'm weighing this decision.
i dok donosim tu odluku.
Now, in reality,
U stvarnosti
I'm actually looking up at nothing.
gledam prema u ništa.
I mean, there's nothing up there except a white wall.
Nema ništa na stropu, to je samo bijeli zid.
And the director, Kevin Reynolds,
I onda redatelj Kevin Reynolds,
who was a Baptist from Texas,
koji je baptist iz Teksasa.
and he says to me, he says, about 10 doors down there,
I kaže mi 10 vrata uniže.
y'all gonna be looking at something down there where I'm gonna put on the image. I got 2 cameras rolling,
Pogledat ćete u nešto, stavit ću tamo neku sliku i snimamo sa 2 kamere.
and we're gonna put that up there on the screen.
I stavit ćemo to gore na plafon.
For those of you from Texas, I apologize for that bad accent.
Za one iz Teksasa ispričala se vam na lošem akcentu.
So, I go down, walk 10 doors down.
I ušao sam
There are,
u ta vrata
there are murals all over this house,
i mural se nalaze skroz po ovoj kući.
and not one of them is a religious mural.
I nijedan od njih nije religiozno.
I finally walk into the room.
I konačno sam ušao u sobu.
He's got 2 cameras rolling.
On ima 2 kamere koje već snimaju.
The ceiling is lit.
Osvijetljen je strop.
Well, I'm in shock.
I ja sam šokiran.
I mean, I just standing there slack-jawed with my mouth open.
Gledao sam sa svojim ustima otvorenim.
There on the ceiling
Na stropu
is a fresco of the Immaculate Conception.
freska je uznesenja Gospodnog.
Now, Kevin Reynolds doesn't know a thing about Medjugorje or Mary.
Kevin Reynolds ne zna ništa o Medjugorju ili o Gospi.
So I say, do you have any idea what that is?
Ja mu kažem, imaš li pojma šta je to?
Turns to me and he says, yup,
On mi kaže, da,
and leaves the room.
i izađe iz sobe.
I was hesitant to add to that yup,
I htio sam nadodati nešto o tome,
for fear that he would take the shot out of the movie.
bojeći se da će izrezati to iz filma.
So I just kept my mouth shut.
I držao sam svoja usta zatvorena.
But it was a sign for me,
Ali to je bio znak za mene.
a sign that Mother Mary was with me.
Znak da je Gospa bila sa mnom.
And after all I had been through,
Nakon svega što sam proživio.
that she had been there all along, leading me by the hand,
Da je bila tamo cijelo vrijeme, vodeći me za ruku.
guiding me
Vodeći me
toward her son and my vocation.
prema svome sinu i mome pozivu.
And if you saw the Count of Monte Cristo,
I ako ste gledali Grof od Monte Crista,
you know that that shot did remain in the film.
znate da je ta scena ostala u filmu.
I am proud to say that I shared some screen time with the Virgin Mary.
I ponosan sam da kažem da sam provela nešto vremena sa Gospom.
And inexplicably, I get a call from Mel Gibson.
I neočekivano dobijem poziv od Mel Gibsona.
Now, my agent didn't call me.
Moj agent me nije zvao.
My manager didn't call me.
Moj menadžer me nije zvao.
I didn't know Mel Gibson,
Nisam poznavao Mel
and I
Gibsona.
was not politicking for the role
I nisam gledao, ni me zanimala ta uloga.
because no one knew what was happening.
Jer nitko nije znao što se dešavalo.
Mel Gibson wants me to play Jesus Christ.
Mel Gibson želi da ja glumim Isusa Krista.
He wants the guy with the initials of JC,
Želi momka koji ima inicijale JC,
who happens to be 33 years of age, to play Jesus Christ.
koji ima 33 godine da glumi Isusa Krista.
Do you think this is a coincidence?
Mislite li da je to slučajnost?
By the way,
Usput,
we got the green light for the film
dobili smo zeleno svjetlo za film.
on the Feast of the Assumption of Mary
Na slavlje Gospinog uznesenja u nebu.
and finished the first assemblage viewing
I završili smo
on the Feast of Fatima.
prvu verziju na blagdan Gospe Fatimske.
Our Lady has completely made this film for her son.
Gospa je načinila ovaj film za svoga sina.
She's taken us through all of it.
Vodila nas je kroz sve.
Many times when we were filming,
Mnogo puta dok smo snimali.
we could have shot this on the studio lot,
Mogli smo to snimiti u studiju.
but then I would have not been able to suffer on the cliff where Mel put me, which was 1,000 feet up.
Ali ne bih ja onda bio patio na litici gdje me je Mel stavio, koja je visoka 1000 stopa.
Every day before we filmed,
Svaki dan prije nego što smo snimali,
we had the Holy Mass.
slavili smo svetu misu.
I carried the relics with me.
Nosio sam relikvije sa sobom.
Every day
Svaki dan.
I went to confession.
Išao sam na ispovjed.
I kept saying, Father,
Govorio sam oče.
he said, you keep coming back.
On mi je govorio, vraćaš se stalno.
And I said, because my biggest sin is the sin of omission.
Ja sam mu govorio zato što je to moj veliki grijeh puta.
I don't love enough.
Ne volim dovoljno.
Many people right now
Mnogo ljudi sada
are attacking this film, are attacking
napadaju taj film.
this film is under great scrutiny right now.
Ima dosta loših komentara na taj film.
I will tell you why.
Reći ću vam zašto.
There have been critics that have come out that have seen the film.
Postoje kritičari koji su izašli i vidjeli taj film.
Legitimate critics in the United States
Pravi kritičari u Americi.
that have said this is the greatest film that has ever been made.
Koji su rekli da je to najveći film koji je ikad snimljen.
Of course, Our Lady doesn't make anything different than that.
Gospa nikad ne bi napravila ništa drugačije.
I have to tell you,
Moram vam reći,
I often receive letters from people telling me what films I should or should not do.
često dobivam pismo od ljudi koji mi govore koje bih filmove trebao i koje ne bi trebao snimati.
I understand when looking at Hollywood why you would do this.
Znam, razumijem kad pogledate Hollywood zašto bi to uradile.
I have a challenge for you.
Imam izazov za vas.
If you do not come out in droves, if you do not come out in numbers,
Ako ne izađete u brojevima velikim,
don't send me another letter.
nemojte mi poslati više nijedno pismo.
This film is amazing.
Ovaj film je super.
You have a chance to blow Hollywood away.
Imate priliku da raznesete Hollywood.
So do it. Send them a message.
I učinite to i pošaljite im poruku.
Which brings me back to you.
I što me dovodi natrag vama.
Why am I here?
Zašto sam ja ovdje?
To call you to arms.
Da vas pozovem na oružje.
You must be a people
Morate biti ljudi
animated by your faith.
vođeni svojom vjerom.
I want you to have the courage to step into this pagan world
I želim da imate hrabrosti ući u ovaj poganski svijet.
and shamelessly express your faith in public.
Bez srama iskazati svoju vjeru u javnosti.
God is not only calling Jim Caviezel,
Bog ne zove samo Jima Caviezela,
He is calling all of us
zove sve nas
to do great things.
da činimo velike stvari.
But how often
Ali kako često
we fail to respond,
mu ne odgovorimo,
dismissing it as some mental blurb.
misleći da je to mentalna smutnja.
It is time for our generation
Vrijeme je za našu generaciju
to accept that call,
da prihvati taj poziv.
the call of God urging us
Poziv Boga koji nas potiče
to give ourselves entirely to Him,
da se damo potpuno njemu,
to see that gentle hand guiding your path.
da vidimo tu nježnu ruku koja nas vodi na našem putu.
But you first must make that commitment
Ali prvo morate učiniti tu odgovornost,
to pray,
da molite,
to fast,
da postite,
to go to confession,
da idete na
and
ispovijed,
to pray the Rosary,
da molite krunicu
and to frequent the Holy Mass.
i da idete stalno na svetu misu.
We are a culture in decline,
Mi smo u kultura umiranju.
the people in danger of succumbing to our excesses.
ljudi koji se podaju našim žudnjama.
Our whole world is entrenched in sin.
Naš je cijeli svijet omotan u grijehu.
And there in the quiet of our hearts,
I tamo u tišini naših srca
a woman is calling us,
žena nas zove.
each one of us to her son.
Svakog nas svome sinu.
He is there for us in the blessed sacrament.
On je tamo za nas u svetom sakramentu,
In the scripture.
u svetom pismu.
And how often we ignore him,
I kako ga često ignoriramo.
ignoring that sweet call.
Ignoriramo taj slatki poziv.
Saint Maximilian Kolbe said,
Sveti Maksimilijan Kolbe je rekao,
indifference is the greatest sin of the 20th century.
neobzirnost je najveći grijeh 20. stoljeća.
Well, my friends,
Dragi moji
it
prijatelji,
is the greatest sin of the 21st century as well.
to je najveći grijeh 21. stoljeća također.
We must shake off this indifference,
Moramo se riješiti tog nemira,
this destructive tolerance of evil,
ove stalne tolerancije zla.
and only the faith and the wisdom of the church can save us.
I samo nas vjera i mudrost crkve može spasiti.
But it requires men and women,
Ali zahtjeva muškarce i žene,
warriors,
ratnike,
ready to risk their reputations,
koji su spremni da riskiraju svoj ugled,
their good names,
svoje dobro ime,
even their very lives,
čak svoje živote,
to stand for the truth.
da stoje za istinu.
As the Pope said recently
Kao što je nedavno Papa rekao,
to a group of young people
u grupi mladih
in
ljudi
Rome,
u Rimu,
set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation.
odvojite se od ove koruptirane generacije,
Be saints.
budite sveci,
Use the gifts given to you by God for His purposes,
upotrijebite darove koje vam je Bog dao za njegove svrhe,
not your own.
ne za svoje.
You can only reach the splendid heights He has reserved for you if you first submit and conform your will to His.
Možete samo doseći vrhunce koje on predodredio za vas samo ako podložite svoju volju njegovom.
Our Lady said to the mystic,
Gospa je rekla misticima,
Mary of Agreda,
Marija Margrita,
if you truly follow my son,
ako zaista pratiš moga sina,
scandal
skandal,
will follow you all the days of your life.
pratit ćete čitav tvoj život.
In my country
U mojoj zemlji
and around the world,
i u cijelom svijetu
we are only too happy to go with the flow.
uvijek smo sretni da idemo niz vjetar.
We have enshrined a freedom
Govorimo o slobodi,
where all choices are equal,
gdje su svi izbori jednaki.
no matter what the consequences are.
Nije važno kakve su posljedice,
But is that true freedom?
ali da li je to prava sloboda?
The Holy Father
Sveti Otac
had this to say on that matter in Baltimore
rekao je ovo na tu temu u Baltimoru
in 1995.
1995.
Democracy
Demokracija
cannot be sustained
ne može biti održana
without a shared commitment
bez podijeljene odgovornosti
to certain moral truths
prema određenim moralnim istinama
about the human person
o ljudskoj osobi
and human community.
i ljudskoj zajednici.
The basic question before a democratic society is,
Glavno pitanje pred demokratskom zajednicom je
how ought we to live together?
kako da živimo zajedno.
In seeking an answer to this question,
Traženju odgovor na ovo pitanje.
can society exclude moral truth and moral reasoning?
Može li društvo isključiti moralne istine i moralno razmišljanje?
Every generation
Svaka generacija
needs to know
mora znati
that freedom exists,
da sloboda postoji.
not to do what you like,
Ne da radiš ono što želiš,
but having the right to do what you want.
nego da imaš pravo da radiš ono što želiš.
This is the freedom I wish for you.
To je sloboda koju želim svima vama.
Freedom from sin,
Sloboda od grijeha,
freedom from your weaknesses,
sloboda od vaše slabosti,
freedom from the slavery that sin makes out of all of us.
sloboda od ropstva koje grijeh čini od svih nas.
That is the freedom we're dying for.
To je sloboda za koju umiremo.
It reminds me of the words
Podsjeća me na riječi
that Mel Gibson first intoned in his Academy Award-winning film.
da je Mel Gibson rekao na primanju svojeg prvog nagrade.
His Academy Award-winning film Braveheart,
Njegova nagrada koja je osvojila za hrabro srce.
When he said to his ragtag army,
kad je rekao svojim vojnicima,
and I say to you
a ja kažem vama,
today,
danas,
I see before me
vidim pred sobom
a whole army of my countrymen
cijelu vojsku svojih zemljaka,
here in defiance of tyranny.
a koji nose
Tyranny.
tiraniju, nose se žive sa tiranijom.
You have come to fight
Došli ste da se borite
as free men,
kao slobodni ljudi.
and free men you are.
I slobodni ljudi vi jeste.
What will you do without freedom?
Šta biste radili bez slobode?
Will you fight?
Bili ste se borili?
This man right here says no.
Ovaj čovjek ovdje kaže
You
ne.
run,
Ti bježi
and we'll live.
i mi ćemo živjeti.
Yes, yes, da. Fight and you may die.
Bori se i možda ćeš umrijeti.
Run and you'll live,
Bježi i živjet ćeš.
for at least a while.
Ali pitanje je zašto?
And dying in your beds,
Umiranje u vašim krevetima.
many years from now,
Mnogo dana od sada.
would you be willing to trade
Da li biste htjeli promijeniti
all the years
sve godine?
from this day to that
Od danas do tada.
for one chance,
Za jednu šansu.
just one chance,
Za jednu priliku.
to come back here and tell our enemies
Da kažete svojim neprijateljima.
that you may take our lives,
Da mogu uzeti vaše živote.
but you can never take our freedom.
Ali nikada ne možete uzeti našu slobodu.
Every man dies,
Svaki čovjek umire,
not every man truly lives.
ali ne svaki čovjek živi u istinu.
You,
Vi,
you all,
svi vi,
you must fight for that authentic freedom.
morate se boriti za tu autentičnu
And
slobodu
live.
i živjeti.
By God, you must live.
Za ime Božje morate živjeti.
And with Mary as your shield,
Sa Gospom kao vašim
and
štitom,
Christ as your sword,
Isusom kao vašim mačem.
may you join Saint Michael
Pridružite se Svetom Mihaelu
and all the angels
i svim anđelima
in defending God
u borbi za Boga
and sending Lucifer
i slanjem
and his
Lucifera
henchmen
iz ovog svijeta
straight right back to hell where they belong.
nazad u pakao gdje pripada.
And may God
I neka Bog
and his loving mother
i njegova draga majka
love you,
voli vas,
keep you, and light your path all the days of your life.
drži vas i osvijetli put
God
vašeg
bless you
života,
all.
cijeli vaš život. Bog vas sve blagoslovio.